coming to a close. Leader in the clubhouse right now, Justin Rose, after firing a 7-under 65. There is a tie at second, including Ludwig Oberg, the former Texas Tech Bear. He, Scotty Scheffler, and Corey Connors are all at 4 under, while Craig Couples in a big tie for 11th at 1 under.
If you smoke, take it outside. Get the facts at don'tpassgas.org.
This is Extra Innings with Pleasure.
Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Rock and roll! The Texans win it!
You've been called the Da Vinci of our time. What do you say to that?
Absolutely ridiculous. I don't paint.
That goal is history. A walk-off home run.
And it's going to be legendary.
James Pledger wraps your day with insight, opinion, plenty of sarcasm, and of course, your calls. He'll even pour a beer out the door for his favorite story of the day. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. Now, here's Pledge.
What's up, Danger? Can't stop me now.
Welcome into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. I am James Pledger. Thanks for joining me on this beautiful Thursday afternoon. No matter how you may be listening, whether you're listening on the radio at 94.1 FM, if you happen to be listening online via a Best Bail Bonds audio player at sasportstar.com, or you're watching on YouTube, because we stream all of our shows live for you on YouTube. Just go there, search San Antonio Sports Star, go ahead, like, subscribe. You can comment along with the show, or feel free to call in the old-fashioned way, 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776 if you want to be a part of the program. Sam already in the bullpen saying he's not hungover. Yeah, it didn't go hard last night. That's what this weekend's for. That's why I'm taking off tomorrow. And today through Saturday, it's going to be fun. So if you know me, you know where I'll be. If you want to roll through and say what's up, come on by. We'll be at the Roo Pub. We'll be at the Angry Elephant, just having a good time all weekend long. Saturday, I'll hit the links, go see my buddy Bo out at the Golf Club of Texas. And, man, Joe mentioned it at the top of the show. Something about watching golf, especially the Masters, just makes me want to play so bad. And I've got that itch right now. I want to go play. I want to get out on the course. I also want to get some new sticks. So I'm thinking about doing that here soon as well. But birthday night 1 survived. Night 2 tonight. And then Friday and Saturday. And then we'll see on Monday for the golf tournament. I'm actually going to try and get out there on Monday morning as well. Run out to the golf course, say what's up to everybody while the morning huddle's going on. Probably be there for the 9 a.m. shotgun start, and then head back to the station. So hopefully I'll be able to see some of y'all out there at the golf tournament, out there at the Golf Club of Texas. It benefits the Pan American Golf Association. Of course, it is presented by Flight by Yuengling, the next generation of light beer. And there's going to be a bunch of great quenching beverages on the course, I'm sure, thanks to Flight by Yuengling. Also, it is presented by Ancira and PPL Motorhomes. The big news last night, though, and they were talking about it on the Blitz, of course, with Jason and Joe a little bit after. Sam's asking if I'm going to the Hangar Bar after. Of course, if you're not part of the tournament, go to the Hangar Bar over there on Petranco for the after party. That is open to everybody, whether you're in the tournament or not. Jason and Joe will be there. I, unfortunately, will not be there because I am going to have to produce the show from back here and then host my show after that. So, unfortunately, no, I will not be at the Hangar Bar. But as it pertains to Jason and Joe talking about the numbers last night for the NBA, which are the biggest non-Christmas Day numbers for a regular season NBA game last night for Luka's return to Dallas. And it was everything that you thought it was going to be. It was Luka going off. It was Luka being emotional pregame and postgame. The tears from the tribute video that still leave you scratching your head like, what are the Dallas Mavericks doing? And early this morning, AJ and Rob, well, they were the first to react to Luka's return to Dallas.
Luka last night in Dallas. We got some sound from Luka. Here's Luka talking about the emotions he was feeling before the game last night.
Well, it was a little bit of both, happy and angry, but it's nice to see some familiar faces here. I spent a lot of times with them. But like you said, it was a lot of emotions. When I woke up, I was tired. I ain't gonna lie, I didn't sleep much. I was excited about this game, and I really appreciate the fans, the way they reacted to me.
I decided to crush their skulls.
Yeah, I keep thinking about how does Nico Harrison like?
I swear he had body armor on yesterday.
What is there? This is like you can never recover from this.
No, there's no coming back. I don't think. I think you think it's going to be bad. Like they knew what they were doing was going to alter the sports universe, and in Dallas even more so. They had an idea. I don't think it would. They thought that a month and a half later, there'd be a dude standing outside the building handing out free clown noses to everybody that walked in. I don't think they had any idea the firestorm that, this went beyond sports. This was them trading away little boys' heroes. I mean, there's 5-year-olds across Dallas with 77 jerseys. They don't know what to do with. I mean, this is part of the fabric of this city. Like it's wild, man. It's not since Dirk or Roger or Troy. Can you imagine if at the height of Troy Aikman's career they traded him?
No,
I mean and Troy was different than Emmett and different than Michael. Troy was Troy, baby, and it was he went along with Dirk as a child to every mother in Dallas, and Luka was the next. No one expected this, and you're right. No one comes back from this.
Then they asked him if he felt like this was a closure moment. Does he feel like now he can turn the page on this chapter?
It's a hard question. I mean, for sure, it's a bit more talking about closure. Sometimes hard because, like I said, I spend a lot of time here, great moments. But it's, like I say, it's getting more and more, and I got to focus on different things now.
What do you think?
I think it's going to – I think it's going to no, it's not closure, because my guess is next time he comes to town, it's going to be a similar reaction. They won't play the tribute video again, but it'll be a similar reaction from the fans and from him. And from him, yeah.
We'll forever get his best game.
As I was sitting there watching him on the bench with tears in his eyes, Luka was he thought, as much as everyone else thought, that he was there for good.
And that was his plan. I mean, he was going to take less money.
He was never going to leave.
No, because he wanted to be Dirk. He saw what Dirk was and emulated all of it. I mean, and then to have that yanked from him, we get jaded about things, but there's a reason why players can be utter jerks, because this kind of crap happens to them.
Here's LeBron James talking about being a part of Luka's return.
Super happy to be a part of that moment. Obviously, you saw the emotions on Luka's face. It was great. That was an unbelievable moment. Something I probably never forget, to be a part of that moment. And the kid had a 7 amazing seasons here. I mean, he was from a kid to a man, and for all those moments, just it's all come together today, and just it's pretty cool.
I would imagine Mavericks fans never expected to be cheering for a team that LeBron James was a part of. Yet here we are.
LeBron said something kind of funny. I've always considered Luka more of a man than a boy.
But you got to remember, what was he, 19 when he came to the league, or 20?
When he got here, but his he just seemed like a grown-ass man from the moment I was like Dirk. The first time we saw Dirk, he looked like a skinny kid, and he grew into it. Luka kind of arrived as a man, and you don't really think of him as, yes, he was as young as Wemby.
Yeah. They asked Jason Kidd. First, they asked him about the tribute video.
It was incredible. It was the fans were great. The tribute was great. Luka's performance was great. It was great. You know, that's who Luka is. I've said that as
you got your ass
when
kicked.
he was with the Mavs. He's one of the best players in the world, and he displayed that again tonight.
That's the dude that can see the finish line.
Oh God,
I would be in the Bahamas in 1 week.
Poor Jason Kidd. He had this is none of his doing.
Although I still don't believe him. I didn't know. They just sprung on him.
I don't know. I mean,
I don't believe him.
Okay. Then they asked Jason Kidd, does this game make you regret the organization trading? Like basically asking him, like, what does this make you wish that
this is one of those, be very careful with your answer.
That dude, you know, he's like, oh, please don't ask me that. Please don't ask me that.
No, I have a job to do, and that's to coach the players that are in that locker room. We've gone through the groceries, right? So the guys in that locker room, I got to put them in a better position to win, and I just didn't do that tonight. We're getting healthy. We're getting off a minute restriction, and so we have 2 games left to get things going in the right direction before we play Sacramento. And so that's all we're worried about. Understanding all the emotions and all the attention on this game. This game is over. There's nothing we can do. He's not coming back as a Mav. He's with the Lakers. And so we have to move forward, and that's what we've done.
Let me tell you something. If they get healthy enough to beat Sacramento, and Sacramento is no world beater, it will be Kidd's greatest coaching achievement.
Yeah.
If he can put this thing together and win a playoff series without Kyrie, and only having Anthony Davis for 5 games, and can still get them ready and prepared to play in a playoff series, Kidd's gone up to next level coach in my book.
Casey said Nico reminds him of that. I think he means the Easterby guy that the Texans had to fire. I think you're right. And like, there may be no peace amongst Mavericks fans until then, because that's how it was with the Texans. The Texans basically lost their fan base for a couple of years. And I don't know if you guys remember, but there was always you couldn't get season tickets to the Texans. There was a long waiting list to get
winning
season
didn't
tickets.
Matter. It was
and it, like even when they stunk, it was still hard to get in that place. When this Easterby thing went down, it was a mix of Bill O'Brien GM into Jack Easterby, and there was about a 3-year window where the Texans ruined all goodwill with their fan base, and it could not be corrected until Jack Easterby was gone.
And Easterby was that weird.
He's like a preacher. He was like the team chaplain,
and he ran out some dudes
have in charge of the team, basically.
Remember what was his name? Jamie. He worked with the
Jamie Roots
on the business side of the Texans. He ran him out. The guy that was really kind of the brains behind the entire operation ran that dude out. Yeah, it was a mess. I'm not sure if Nico is a patsy or an architect. My sense is he's a patsy. I think that there was more in play than Nico. This is kind of above your pay grade.
But if that's the case,
stuff.
then who's pulling strings?
Well, I think it's the Adelsons, and I do believe to some extent the conspiracy theory that the Adelsons are doing everything they can to get the Mavericks to Vegas. I think at the end of the day, they were trying to ruin goodwill in Dallas, anger everyone, dismantle for the sake of billions in Vegas money. That's
crazy.
I know it's crazy, and I know there's lots of lines, but you can't make sense out of nonsense. And you don't. What they did will never in my lifetime happen again, because anybody who sees what they did realizes you just dismantle. And even if you win a playoff series, it will. The stink on this franchise is going to remain. They're not going to add one new season ticket sale, one extra, one plus for 5 years.
He's right. He is absolutely right. The Mavericks have lost a lot of goodwill, and I think the Easterby analogy to the Houston Texans during the dark times is a very apropos analogy. Now, it wasn't anything having to do with trying to get the team to a different location, But when you have new ownership, you at least have to call it into question as to why. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. I am James Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 941 FM, sasportstar.com. We got more coming up. The NFL draft is right around the corner. A lot of questions in the chat about that. Plus, earlier today on the Blitz, they were talking about Joker and his comments about Mike Malone and what's going down up there in Denver. And it leads to what's going to happen in San Antonio. We'll discuss coming up here on Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
My wife, she's 13 years my junior.
Yeah. Never mind.
I mean, that kind of creepy when you put it like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, when everybody's adults, 10-year gaps, no big deal.
No.
But when you push it back down.
That's funny. Hey, sweetie, remember this? No, I was 2.
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
The following is a dramatization.
Davis Law Firm. How can I help?
That guy pulled out in front of me out of nowhere. The police are on their way, but I'm really shaken up.
Don't worry. We're going to get you taken care of. You made the right call.
I'm Jeff Davis. If you've been hurt in a car, truck, or 18-wheeler wreck, call Davis Law Firm at 444-4444. We're ready to help day or night, and there's no fee unless we win.
Davis Law Firm, San Antonio.
Flight by Yingling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling & Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Mellow Mushroom has the best pizza in San Antonio. Mellow delivers the best pizza experience with their delicious dough, premium ingredients, and unique flavors. Delivering a higher order of pizza is the standard. If Mellow can make a pizza this delicious, imagine what they can do with munchies, greens, calzones, and burgers. Mellow Mushroom has San Antonio's best happy hour with food specials and half-off adult beverages. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
My name is John. I could not lose the weight I needed to. The Institute for Functional Health Wellness Program was the answer. It included a great deal of testing, supplements, and weekly face-to-face doctor visits. I finally had the accountability I needed. I am now 50 pounds lighter. I no longer have pain in my elbow, back, and hips. I have more energy and just feel and look so much better.
Call for your complimentary consultation, 210-468-1891. I'm Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/score. Ethos.com/score.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Robinhood Gold members can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on retirement contributions. A very handsome reward indeed. With Robinhood Gold, your annual IRA contributions are boosted by 3%. Plus, you also get 4% APY on your cash and non-retirement accounts. That's over 8 times the national savings average. The perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive a 3% IRA boost on annual contributions, sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rates subject to change. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold at $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Over 8 times the national average savings account interest rate claim is based on data from the FDIC as of November 18th, 2024. Robinhood Financial LLC member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that. And third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
What's up, baseball fans? Go yard with BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Enjoy top odds on your favorite home run bets, fast and convenient ways to play same-game parlays, special boosts and tokens, and so much more. From the first pitch to the game-winning fireworks, there are more ways than ever to supercharge your excitement. Download the BetMGM app and get your piece of MLB action. BetMGM is an official partner of Major League Baseball. BetMGM and GameSense reminds you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 years of age and older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. For New York, 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Arizona, 1-800-NEXT-STEP. For Massachusetts, 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, 1-800-981-0023. First bet offers for new customers only. All other promotions for existing customers. Subject to eligibility requirements. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Major League Baseball trademarks. Used with permission.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pledger here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I am James Pledger. You can follow me on X and everything at I am Pledger. You can follow the station at SA Sports Star. You can also watch the show live on our YouTube page. Just go to SA Sports Star on YouTube. Go ahead, like, subscribe. You're free to comment along. A lot going on in there. NFL draft and, of course, new Dak Prescott talk, Joe Milton, and what's going on there. It will be very, very interesting. We'll get into all of that. But earlier today on the Blitz, Joker had some comments about Mike Malone, what happened, how it went down, when he found out, how he found out, how much say he had in everything that went on. And it leads you to wonder, what will the San Antonio Spurs offseason look like?
Woody Page originally reported the day of the firing that the Joker signed off on this. The Joker says that's not necessarily true.
I mean, I'm not going to say what Josh told me. So, I mean, I knew a little bit before everybody, and he told me, like, we made a decision. So it was not discussion. It was decision. And, he told me why. And so I listened and I accepted. I'm not going to tell what he told me. I'm going to keep that private.
Well, interesting. So Joker had nothing to do with it. He was just told ahead of time that the decision had already been made.
Which is understandable that you would inform your star player that this is the decision, this is the reason why. But they didn't go to him and say, hey, here we're thinking of firing the coach. What do you think? You good with that? Okay, cool. We'll fire him. That wasn't the conversation. The conversation was, hey, we're firing the coach and the GM. Here's why. Okay. And he said he accepted it, right?
Right.
I mean, didn't say he was happy about it. Hard to read body language. It didn't seem like he was overly happy about it, but the decision was made and he was informed of the decision. There was no discussion.
Now, I wonder, though, if Joker would have said, look, I know you made the decision, but I'd really like to keep him alone. Yeah, I mean, are you sure? Can we talk about this? And that wasn't done. Would that have changed their mind? I don't know. But you got to wonder, if Joker really wanted Malone to stick around, he could have said something.
I think at that point, the decision was made and he knew it. And say what you want about star players, but when the billionaire owner calls you and says, this is what we're doing, and not really asking your opinion, they're still the boss, right?
Sure, yeah.
I mean, it is interesting when you hear those in an organization, how they refer to different people. Let's use the Cowboys as an example. Most everybody says Mr. Jones, except Steven. And even sometimes Steven will say that, but most times Steven is the only one that says Jerry.
Yep.
Everybody else, whether it's the head coach, players, it's Mr. Jones. There is that respect factor that is in all the sports. And the Joker obviously knows that. If he was asked an opinion, maybe he answers that differently. But he said, no, I was informed of the decision and I accepted it, because what else was he going to do? Right? I mean, yeah, all right.
Part of the business, right? I mean,
yes.
and you know that coaches get fired, players get traded. I mean, can you imagine? You talk about star players not having any power for anything. Well, you see what happened in Dallas.
Well,
so, I mean, they don't get. I mean, Joker is. I mean, they're on the same level, right? I mean, so it's unbelievable what's happened in the NBA this year. It's been a strange year, has it not?
It has, and you also wonder how upset Joker was, because apparently the relationship between Malone and the general manager was so bad, and everybody could feel it. You get rid of both of them. The ESPN article says players such as Joker and Gordon have displayed visible frustration in recent losses on the sideline. Malone, though, did have to deal with injuries to key players. And so I don't know. I mean, Adelman is credited with the architecture of the offense. And, assistant coaches are kind of like, I don't know, the backup quarterback. You're kind of the fan favorite until you're not. Assistant coaches a lot of times have different relationships with the players than the head coach, and they certainly spend more time with them as an assistant than the head coach does in a lot of cases. So it'll be interesting to see how David Adelman will do. I mean, he's spent 8 seasons there as an assistant coach. So, we'll have the rest of the regular season, couple games, and the postseason in line to become, a head coach. And then you look at candidates, and my goodness, it's the same people that we're talking about in San Antonio. Taylor Jenkins is on the list. Becky Hammond is high on the list. And this is where we go with Greg Popovich. Needs to make a decision sooner rather than later, because there are already a couple of openings for what I would describe as very coveted jobs with star players.
And Phoenix is going to be another one, most likely. You would think. I mean, because they really have. They've given up. I mean, they're not, don't even seem to be trying anymore. Adelman, though, I think is a legit chance of staying there in Denver. I think they like him. I think they like him a lot. A lot will depend on what happens. And you look at the schedule down the stretch is huge. Jamal Murray, by the way, for Denver is scheduled to be back tomorrow. They play Memphis tomorrow. That's a huge game. Memphis has Minnesota tonight, another huge game. So I think a lot might happen in the Denver case of what happens with the remainder of the season and where they end up. So, but I think Adelman's got a legit shot. Having said all of that, you're going to have more openings than that. And with these coaches out there, high-profile guys that have been successful, yeah, I mean, and Pop knows that. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's been a decision made, Jason, honestly, and they're just waiting till the end of the season to make the announcement one way or the other and how this is going to go. Because Pop knows as well as anybody. He's been in this game way too long to not know. So he knows that they got to get on with it if they need to hire another coach or let everybody know that he's back and he's going to be the man.
The reality, I mean, I think it's safe to say Mitch Johnson isn't going to be the guy. So
I hope not. I just don't think he's ready yet to be a full-time head coach.
My gut tells me Pop will not be back.
I feel the same.
And so you wonder, to your point, if a decision has already been made, but we want to wait till the end of the regular season, fine. Typical Spurs will get a press release. Random Tuesday in a couple of weeks. But I mean, you just, when you're looking at the importance of the offseason, and if a decision has been made, they're already doing this. If Pop is still taking time to make his decision, and he deserves to be able to make this decision.
Yep.
But at some point, if he just can't make a decision, the Spurs are going to have to make a decision for him. And the best decision for the organization is moving forward with this important offseason without Pop as the head coach. Pop can certainly continue his role as president of basketball operations or whatever role he wants within the organization. But when you think about suffering a stroke at his age and then to come back and coach 82 regular season games and hopefully into the postseason, when there was talk that he could come back this year around the All-Star break, maybe he is further along in the rehab and can do it. Maybe the reason he decided not to come back this year is because of the blood clots with Wemby. And the Spurs have given no real indication either way. My gut, though, is he ain't going to coach again, and they've got to move on. But when you look at the available candidates, you look at the Spurs job with a guy like Wemby. You look at the Denver job now it's open with a guy like Joker. John Morant in Memphis. Devin Booker in Phoenix, if that job comes open. It certainly seems like it will. It's not like the jobs that are going to be open this year in the NBA are the crap jobs that nobody really wants, like the Hornets or Washington or, which there, so a lot of coveted jobs this year. The best candidates, there's two that are available that, quite frankly, at the beginning of the year, none of us thought that Malone or Jenkins would get fired, certainly not during the season.
Well, certainly not, because their teams are successful.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it. You usually don't fire coaches of successful teams. So, yeah, those two are a big surprise. But going back to Pop for a minute, I think Chris Paul, when he spoke about it, that meeting that Pop had with those players and the emotion that he spoke about it with, I think tells you all you need to know. That Pop obviously didn't look like Pop or sound like Pop. And it's unfortunate that if this is the end and he's going to have to retire from coaching, it's unfortunate the way that happened. But it didn't sound good, and that's all we really have to go by, because we get no updates from the Spurs at all about this, which is fine. Pop probably wants it that way, and that's fine. But again, the Spurs know, Pop knows, R.C. Buford knows, they're going to have to make a call one way or the other sooner rather than later. You got the draft lottery coming up May 12th. And, I mean, that's just right around the corner.
And, again, the lottery itself, we know where we're picking. I don't necessarily we have to have a head coach in place by the draft. The new head coach, assuming it is a new head coach, has to have input on who that selection is going to be. David Macias writes on our YouTube channel, the draft position doesn't matter when you don't have a coach. We'll have a coach. We'll know something certainly by then. I'd be shocked if Greg Popovich drug this out through the offseason, July or August. I would be stunned. I agree with Joe. I think a decision has already been made. Just an announcement has not yet been made, because this organization spends too much time working ahead for them not to already know what direction they are going to go.
They have to know. And if they don't, they need to figure it out quickly, because like they said, this is one of the most important off seasons in Spurs history. And it feels like hyperbole, and it feels like we said that a couple of times already since the Wemby draft. This is an important offseason. If they land Wemby, it redefines the franchise. Well, you now have to figure it out. And Sam's asking, do you force Pop to retire? Yes, if you have to acquire the coach of the future, and whoever that coach of the future may be, because Michael Malone, Taylor Jenkins, they're not going to wait around. You're going to have other good jobs that are open. Yes, Wemby and Fox and Castle, that is a very, very intriguing situation for a head coach, but there are lots of intriguing situations across the NBA right now. You've got John Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies. You've got the Denver job now. You're going to have Phoenix come open and potentially others. So they are going to be in high demand because they are great coaches that have had proven success and a proven track record of winning in the NBA. So you have to get ahead of things. And if he's not on board with it, he is still going to be the president of Spurs, SS&E, all that stuff. Like, he is going to have a place in this organization for the rest of his life. But as the head coach, if he's not returning to the bench, or you don't know if he can, you have to start thinking about the future with Wemby and Fox now, because you can't keep waiting. You can't, it's not about skipping steps. It's about missing the boat at this point in time. And if you feel like one of these guys is the next guy to lead this team into the future, you can't miss that opportunity unless you've got somebody else circled, whether that's Bill Self or Jay Wright or Becky Hammond. But if one of these two guys is your train of thought for the future, you can't miss the boat on that. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. I am James Pledger. Very rarely do we get to see a coach leave on his own terms. Coach K doesn't get that. Or Coach K got that. It's the others that don't. I mean, look at Andy Reid in Philadelphia. Look at Bill Belichick in New England. No matter how good or great you have been for an organization, for how long you've been there, Jim Boeheim in Syracuse, at some point, they ask you to leave by stepping down or whatever it may be, like they did Jim Boeheim, and if you disagree, then a tough decision has to be made. It may be an unpopular one with the fans, or it may be a bad look, but guess what? Time does heal all wounds. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. I am James Pledger here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. When we come back, the NFL draft is right around the corner, and you know what that means. It is time for subterfuge. That's right. What do you believe as we go into the draft? I saw a couple of comments already earlier in the show. We'll get to some of those and more when we get back here on Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Spring Golf Classic on Monday, April 14th at the Golf Club of Texas is officially sold out. But you can still join us at the Hangar Bar and Grill on Potranco for the ultimate after party. Celebrate with cold drinks, great food, and good times. The sold-out San Antonio Sports Star Spring Golf Classic presented by Flight by Yingling and sponsored by Ensira.com and PPL Motorhomes benefits the Pan American Golf Association.
When it comes to vaccines, it's important to get the facts. The City of San Antonio Metropolitan Health District understands that keeping your child safe is your top priority. Vaccines are safe and can help your child's immune system fight harmful germs. They protect against serious diseases and can even save lives. Because when it comes to your child's health, it's time to get real about vaccines and get the facts. Learn more at sa.gov/health. sa.gov/health.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
You know, the Roo Pub is proven to be the best place to watch games with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. All the games, all the fights, and when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch a game. Just down from the Big Blind, right next to the Angry Elephant. The Roo Pub, 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
Progressive knows you've got enough to worry about in life.
Hi, it's your life again. Feel like another year is just slipping away. Yeah, remember all those New Year's resolutions you made? You still haven't finished the first book. Just 19 more to go. I mean, if we're being honest, it wasn't a very realistic goal. Have you ever considered that you intentionally self-sabotage? So what's that about?
So let Progressive protect your home and auto, because you've got enough to worry about. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Spring is in the air, so are the savings during the Mow Less, Save More sales event at your local Aaron's dealer. We're celebrating the season with $100 off qualifying Icon zero-turn lawnmowers with special financing offers available. The Icon mows quickly, comfortably, and leaves a perfectly cut lawn every time. This spring, clean up with savings of $100 off on Aaron's Icon zero-turn during the Mow Less, Save More sales event. Restrictions apply. See your local dealer for details.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. I am James Pledger. Appreciate y'all for rolling along with me tonight as we take you up to 7 o'clock. And then at 8 o'clock, well, some of those big playoff seeding games start getting underway, like Memphis and Minnesota. You can catch it right here starting at 8 o'clock with the pregame on San Antonio Sports Star. Now, the NFL draft, you will also be able to catch here. We are exactly 2 weeks away from the first round of the NFL draft. And man, I love the draft. The draft's one of my favorite times of the year. Just everything that's going on all around it, how relevant, how it can change a franchise. And it doesn't even have to be the first round. Players come from nowhere, and then you start to hear different things as the draft gets closer that you weren't hearing so much so earlier through the process. And, you know, the big news today, Isaiah Bond, allegations against him, turns himself in, out on bail. How's that going to play out? How's it going to affect his draft stock as we move forward? Because we have seen like stuff like that affect draft stocks, whether it be Lyle Cullen, Laramie Tunsil, doesn't matter. Everything's relevant this time of year as teams deep dive onto players' backgrounds, their lives, everything about them. Something you said as early as 2-3 years ago as a freshman can be taken and brought to light. And you better have a good answer for it. Like, I don't like watching film. I don't care about football. All right. How about now? You were a freshman. You were a volleyball player. I get it. Do you love football now? Do you watch film now? Those are going to be important questions for Tet McMillan to answer. But nothing is scrutinized and put under a microscope and can rise and fall faster than a quarterback when it comes to the NFL draft time. And AJ and Rob were talking about that this morning on the Morning Huddle.
2 weeks away, Thursday, April 24th will be the draft. So we are now,
where is it this year?
Green Bay, Wisconsin.
You know, I went to one draft. They had it. I've only been to one, the one that they had in Dallas.
Okay.
Out at the Star. And they're trying to turn it into this giant
pass it
event.
around thing. Yeah.
I think the perfect place for the draft are the small market NFL towns.
Why do you think that?
Because of the way that they present it. Because the draft feels kind of like
Detroit, and no one cared.
Yeah, in Philadelphia, it was it was huge. It feels kind of like the circus.
Okay,
and when the circus comes to town, I think it gets lost in Dallas. Because there's a lot of circuses in Dallas any given night. But I bet Green Bay is going to be a blast.
It probably will be. I'll be honest. I thought when it came to Vegas a couple years ago, was it last year or a couple years ago? I think it was 2 years ago. I thought they were going to say, we're doing this permanently.
Well, yeah, but the Vegas knows how to put on a party.
Yeah.
But the thing about Vegas is after going to a Super Bowl there, I like going to towns like Green Bay. Green Bay had never seen anything like this before. I mean, this is something that average Green Bay dude never thought they would see. The NFL coming to town and everybody coming for the draft. They're never going to get a Super Bowl, but they get this. In Vegas, it was just another weekend. You're like, this is crazy. You should have been here for F1. I mean, that's how it was for them.
But for the NFL, like, is that what's going to make them the most money?
I think so, because for me, the optics
of having the draft in Green Bay and the Lombardi tie and all that is sacred and holy about the frozen tundra. I love that idea. I loved it in Kansas City. I think that's where the draft should be. And you don't need to have it in LA or Dallas or Philly. I mean, even though it was fun in Philly, it's those. Can you imagine the draft in like Nashville? My God, what a party that would be. So
Yeah.
I like the idea of the traveling circus landing in Green Bay. And I would much rather go to the draft in Green Bay over, say, Chicago, just because I know that Green Bay will never forget this and will put on an event the likes of which they're going to never forget too.
Interesting stuff out of the NFL before the NFL draft. I saw yesterday Louis Riddick say that he doesn't believe Shedeur Sanders, who, by the way, Shedeur Sanders is now he's once again a hot button guy in this NFL draft. He's a linchpin guy
He is, and I'm been on both sides of the fence on this cat, and I'm kind of changing my attitude about it.
Now Shedeur says, man, and Dion says Shedeur and Travis Hunter should be drafted 1 and 2.
I'm glad. I want him to say that.
But Louis Riddick said that he believes that Sanders doesn't want to be drafted by any of the 3 teams that currently are sitting in the top 3.
Well, he's no fool.
That is Titans, Browns, and Giants.
You're jumping into a cesspool.
The Giants is a little surprising to me because all the marketing opportunities that comes with playing with the Giants.
Well, I think Dion is very aware
Tommy
that
Cutlets is a star now.
Yeah, I know he'll land and have but I think Dion is very aware of how circumstances matter. That just because you get picked number 1, you might not want to be the number 1 pick. You might not want to be the number 3 pick with all the pressure that comes along with being on a terrible football team. So I think that Dion has a unique perspective that, you know what, son, you can land someplace else. Your brand will follow. You don't have to land as the number 1 overall or someplace else for you to be highly successful and make a whole bunch of money, because those are the 2 things that in order for the Sanders kids is 1, play great, 2, get paid to play great. And after that, I don't think they care where they are.
He's right. And it's look, the subterfuge around Sanders, and I saw it in the chat earlier, lack of pop on the ball, whatever, arm strength is in question. No, it's not. He's got plenty of arm strength. He's got plenty of arm. He can make all the throws. Is it the most elite arm talent you've ever seen, like Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen? No, but it is plenty good arm strength for an NFL quarterback. Like it's laughable to think, oh, he's not athletic enough. I saw him make plenty of plays outside the pocket using his legs. Is he Michael Vick or Lamar Jackson with his legs? Absolutely not. But he's every bit as mobile as CJ Stroud is. So he can use his legs. Does he have elite athleticism traits? No, but you don't need your quarterback to have elite athleticism traits. Shedeur Sanders will be a good NFL quarterback because he can handle pressure. We saw that very much on display at Colorado behind a porous offensive line. So getting him into a good situation with a good quarterback coach, good offensive system, I think would be fantastic. And maybe not going at the top of the draft will put him in a better situation to where he can succeed in the NFL right off the bat. And that would be very, very intriguing. The other thing is Jackson Dart's flying up, and he will be a first-round pick when all is said and done, it looks like. Great value in the 2nd and 3rd round no longer. It looks like teams are falling in love with those traits, and I've heard people talking about, well, if Jackson Dart's not a 2nd or 3rd rounder and value anymore, then Jalen Milroe will take his spot as that value quarterback later in the draft. No, he's not. Jalen Milroe didn't get invited to the draft to sit in the green room, to sit there for 2 to 3 days. They know something's up. And somebody's fallen in love with him. And if he doesn't go late day 1, he'll end up going in day 2 now, in the 2nd round probably. And quarterbacks get pushed up. The one time it didn't happen was Kenny Pickett, and we thought Malik Willis, but he didn't end up going till the 3rd round anyway. And so he ended up becoming more of a value pick. But if you're good and good enough, the teams will elevate you up their draft boards. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. I'm James Pledger here on San Antonio Sports Star. When we come back, we'll put a bow on the show, get you ready for the weekend because I'm off tomorrow. So we'll see you back on Monday. But first, commercial break. We'll come back. We'll get you ready for the weekend, everything that's going on, and get you set for what's happening here on San Antonio Sports Star. That's all coming up here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM and sasportstar.com.
94.1 FM, San Antonio Sports Star.
George gets justice in an instant. A careless driver turns your life upside down. You're hurt. The bills pile up and work stops. At George Salinas Injury Lawyers, your consultation is free. No fees, no pressure, just real help. Justice starts with one call. If you've been injured, it's time to get George. Call George Salinas Injury Lawyers at 210-225-0909 or visit getgeorge.com. George gets justice. Getgeorge.com.
Look, there's feelings and then there's the facts. If you're feeling like your finance team is bogged down in mundane manual tasks, the fact is you need Ramp. Ramp is the corporate card that makes the expense process fast and easy. The moment your team makes a purchase, Ramp handles everything. Receipt collection and approvals, the works. With Ramp, you can cut your month-end close from 5 days to 1, customize approval workflows, and get complete control over every transaction. Facts. Over 25,000 businesses trust Ramp, including Shopify and the Boys and Girls Club of America, which is why they were just named #1 in spend management by G2. Facts. Start using Ramp and you'll have more time to spend scaling your business. And that'll feel really good. Upgrade to Ramp for free today and get $250 at ramp.com/radio. Ramp.com/radio. That's ramp.com/radio.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Guys over 40, tired of feeling tired? Testosterone therapy by Synergenics is the answer. This April, the consultation is free. Treatment covered by most major insurance. Don't wait for online beds. Walk into their clinic, see a provider, feel great today. Book now at fixmylowt.com.
When your business needs an electrician, for over 35 years, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio. Powered by relationships with dedicated estimators who analyze the issue, research cost-effective solutions, and clearly communicate the options without charging you a dime. A proven process that allows you to continue focusing on your unique purpose. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074. Or hill-electric.com.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
The sports calendar is heating up, and with ESPN Bet Sportsbook, you can go from checking news and stats to placing bets in just a couple of taps. Stream games, bet live, and get exclusive offers when you link your ESPN account. Right now, you can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code JOEQ to get started today. That's JOEQ, JOEQ. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Every day when we're on the road, people around us endanger themselves and others by looking at their phones while driving. There's the sneak-a-peeker who darts their eyes between the road and their texts, or the nightlighter who illuminates their car after dark. If that's you, reconsider before you find yourself becoming the fender bender-er, the got a ticket-er, or worst of all, the driver who killed someone. Put the phone away or pay. Paid for by NHTSA.
Progressive knows there are some surprisingly expensive things in life, like frames, because you found a classic 70s concert poster. But when you went to get it framed, you realized the frame will cost about 4 times the amount of the poster, which is actually absurd because no one will be looking at the frame, and if they are, then you severely overestimated how cool this poster is. But then you remember by switching your home and auto to Progressive, you could save hundreds and put it towards a classic 70s concert poster in an absurdly overpriced frame. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
It's Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pledger here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I am James Pledger. Thank you for joining me. Of course, the Masters is here. Justin Rose, your first round leader at 7 under par, 3 shots clear with a 65 of Scotty Scheffler, Corey Connors, and Ludwig Oberg. Bryson DeChambeau just 4 shots back at 3 under par. Last year's Texas Open champ, Akshay Bhatia, at 2 under par. Fred Couples headlining a bunch of people at 1 under par, just 6 strokes back. Trying to find out where Rory McIlroy ended up finishing his round. Even par, 7 shots back after a rough back 9 that included a double bogey. So definitely going to be watching the Masters this weekend. Of course, right here on San Antonio Sports Star. Tonight, you can catch Minnesota and Memphis coming up at 8 o'clock. And then we'll have Rangers and Mariners starting tomorrow through the weekend. And don't forget, tomorrow on the Morning Huddle, you've got the Puppy Food Bank telethon. So don't forget to check that out. Rob and AJ will be there. Of course, there's going to be a ton of guests joining during that, including John O'Hurley. You may know him better from Seinfeld as Mr. Peterman. He will be joining both the Morning Huddle with Rob and AJ and Joe Reinagle tomorrow on the Blitz. So be sure to tune in for that. And of course, Monday, it is the golf tournament. That's right. The Sold Out Spring Golf Classic starts at 9 o'clock out at the Golf Club of Texas. It is presented by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer, and brought to you in part by Ansira and PPL Motorhomes. Don't want to miss out on that. And if you did, don't forget you can still join us for the after party at the Hangar Bar out on Petranco. After the tournament, 2 to 6, the Blitz will be broadcasting live there. I am going to go start kickstarting the celebration of the rest of my birthday weekend. I appreciate all of y'all. We will see you on Monday right here. Remember to just reach out to your friends, tell them you love them, tell them you're thinking about them. You never know what people are going through in life, and a little, hey, how you doing, can go a long way. I love all of y'all. I appreciate all the birthday wishes that I got from everybody on social media, here on the YouTube channel, or the phone calls throughout the last couple of days. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. We'll see you again on Monday right here on Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
The following is a dramatization.
Davis Law Firm, how can I help?
Hola, mi esposo se lastimó en un accidente ayer. ¿Me puede ayudar?
Claro que sí. Estamos aquí para servirle.
I'm Jeff Davis. At Davis Law Firm, we're here for you 24/7. Our team of Texas attorneys has been helping people injured in car, truck, or 18-wheeler wrecks for more than